Auzu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Dear student, assalamu alaikum. This is our 15th lecture and the topic is resolution of racemic modification part B. Before it I have discussed a lot on the racemization, what is racemization, what is racemic mixture and what is resolution. Today we will discuss in details what are the basic methods and important methods which are used for the resolution of racemic mixture, and here you will get some explanation on the methods. The key concepts of the today lectures is that what are the methods for resolution of racemic modification, and we will give you some details on the on these methods which are used for the separation of enantiomers, because it's very difficult to separate the enantiomers because enantiomers have same physical and chemical properties, but the difference between the two is that one has different biological activity, and only through physical methods we can discriminate between the two enantiomers. That in polarimeter, one enantiomer rotates the plane of polarized light in either direction. Means if it is dextrorotatory, it will rotate the plane polarized light in right side, and if it is levorotatory, it will rotate the plane polarized light in left side. That is why on the basis of only biological and physical methods we can distinguish between the two enantiomers, but their physical and chemical properties, like physical properties means melting point, boiling point, density, these are same, and molecular weight is also same, but the chemical properties are also same because both have the same reactions. Today we will discuss how we can separate these enantiomers in a mixture. Resolution of racemic modification. Here is, you can see in these slides, that first is mechanical separation of sodium ammonium racemate by Pasteur in 1848. Pasteur was the first scientist who gave a method which is called mechanical separation, through which we can separate the enantiomers. But at below 28 degrees Celsius, Staedel could not repeat the experiment. Staedel was another scientist. He tried to repeat the methods of Pasteur for the resolution for the separation of enantiomers, but he could not separate because the temperature was below 28 degrees Celsius. Means for mechanical separation, temperature play an important role. Similarly, the second method B is preferential crystallization by inoculation, as for example glutamic acids can be easily resolved through preferential crystallizations. Means when we will do something with the mixture, like we are putting some solvent, then one enantiomer will be crystallized out preferentially and other will remain as it. That is why this is called preferential crystallization, and example is glutamic acids can be resolved easily. Then there is another method, this is C, biochemical separation by Pasteur. Pasteur also do the separation by biochemical methods, destruction of one enantiomers by microorganisms. In biochemical separation we use microorganisms in which one is destroyed, one enantiomer is going to be engulfed by the biological agent, while other remains as it. Means but this method has disadvantages of this method, that dilute solution have to be used we use dilute solution, one enantiomer is destroyed completely and the other partially. Means if we are using some biochemicals, means we are using some bioorganism, then it will destroy one enantiomer completely and the other partially. It is difficult to find a microorganism. It is very important point that and this is a big limitation of biochemical separation, that it is very difficult to search a microorganism which could be used for the separation of the enantiomers. Then there is as for example, there is penicillium glaucum destroys plus ammonium tartrate and leaves minus ammonium tartrate. This is the example of biochemical separation, that penicillium glaucum destroys plus ammonium tartrate and leaves the minus ammonium tartrate. Then there is a D method, conversion to diisomers. This is a chemical method for the resolution of racemic mixture, means formation of derivatives, formation of salt with optically active acids, as for example camphor sulfonic acid, or base, as for example alkaloids. Means when we are going to separate the enantiomers, then through chemical method, this is chemical derivatization methods, in which when we will react the enantiomers with the reagent, definitely it will be converted into other species is diastereomers, because a new chiral center is generated. Already enantiomer has a one chiral center. When it reacts with the other compounds, then second chiral center is generated. That is why it is called conversion into diastereomers, formation of salt with optically active acid, as for example camphor sulfonic acid, or base, and as for example alkaloids. These can be easily converted because camphor can have plus minus. There is one stereocenter in the camphor. When we use some bases, some alkaloids, then it will react with the camphor, and camphor having one enantiomers, having one chiral center, will be converted into many chiral centers, and these are the diastereomers. Diastereomers have different physical and chemical properties, and it's very easy to distinguish between the diastereomers, because diastereomers have different physical and chemical properties, while enantiomers have same physical and chemical properties. This is the example formation of derivatives. Here you can see that this is the compounds. Carbonyl chlorides are going to react with alcohol and result in formation of ester, and this is here R is the methyl group. This is the methyl group. We are using here reagents, the alcohols, which convert this compound into diastereomers. For ketones and aldehydes, optically active hydrazenes, as for example methyl hydrazine, Neridol has been dissolved the oxo compounds with D-tertramide acid hydrazide. This is D-tertramide acid hydrazide. This compound is used for the resolution of amines. Means here there are two chiral centers. This is the diastereomeric relationship of the reacted compounds. Then we can easily distinguish that which is the enantiomers which is going to be converted into diastereomers. For ketones and aldehydes, optically active hydrazenes, methyl hydrazine, Neridol has resolved the oxo compound with D-tertramide acid hydrazide. This is a structure of D-tertramide acid hydrazide. And there is another method, is chromatography. Through chromatography, we can easily separate the enantiomers, like GLC, gas liquid chromatography, and HPLC, high performance liquid chromatography, using Carl-Strachey phases. When we will use the Carl-Strachey phases, then we can easily separate the two enantiomers by using chromatographic techniques. Chromatographic techniques are the gas liquid chromatography GLC and high performance liquid chromatography. Here we are using canister phase for the separation of enantiomers. Then there is kinetic method. Menthol react more slowly. Kinetics, from the word you can understand easily that kinetics means the speed of reaction. Sometimes one compounds have a greater speed of reaction. The one enantiomer has greater speed of reaction over the other enantiomer. Like for example, manganese menthol reacts more slowly with R mandelic acid than with the S plus mandelic acid. Hence, if insufficient manganese menthol is used to completely acidify the plus manganese mandelic acid, then more manganese menthol plus mandalate will be obtained and there will be more R manganese mandelic acid in the unchanged acids. Means this is the kinetic methods. From the word it has been shown clearly that one enantiomer will react faster than the other, and the faster enantiomer which is going to react in a faster rate will be obtained very quickly as compared to the other enantiomer which is going to react very slowly. Here is the example. You can see that when we react the mandelic acid with the manganese menthol, then it has been shown that or manganese mandelic acid react very slowly as compared to S plus mandelic acid. Hence, if insufficient manganese menthol is used to completely acidify plus manganese mandelic acid, then more manganese menthol plus mandalate will be obtained and there will be more R mandelic acid in the unchanged acid. Then there is another method, this is clathrate formation with triiothamotide. This is the triiothamotide. This is the compound plus minus secondary bromide can be resolved. Plus minus secondary butyl bromide can be resolved by using this clathrating agent, and these are the different methods. Here you can see you have seen that we can separate the enantiomers by using these methods, and there is another term which is optical purity. 100% 100% pure enantiomers minus optical purity, 100% racemic modification optical purity. If after repeated crystallization melting point and specification remain the same, we can say it is optically pure, but sometimes this conclusion may be wrong. This is another method for resolution of the mixture through optical purity, but this method has a limitation that sometimes we get wrong conclusion by applying this method on the racemic mixture. That is why optical purity cannot be used, is used very rarely for the separation of enantiomers. Now look at the NMR method for determination of optical purity. There are methods of nuclear magnetic resonance spectroscopy through which we can determine the optical purity of the compounds. Here is the amine, it has plus, this is the amine, this is minus, and this is plus COCl, and it will react with these two plus minus and result in formation of two possible compounds. And through the chemical shift value, because through NMR we get the chemical shift value, and this chemical shift value can be used to distinguish between the two enantiomers. Then there is the isotopic dilution method. Unknown weight of the enantiomer is mixed in solution with unknown weight of its racemic modification, which is labeled with an isotope. After crystallization, the isotopic contents of the racemic modification is determined. If the enantiomer was pure plus form, then the recovered racemic modification will contain unlabeled form as well as labeled plus form, and dilution factor may be calculated since non-weight of both were used. However, if sound again. Now let's see the isotopic dilution method. A known weight of the enantiomer is mixed in a solution with known weight of its racemic modification, which is labeled with an isotope. After crystallization, the isotope content of the racemic modification is determined. If the enantiomer was pure plus form, then the recovered racemic modification will contain unlabeled plus form as well as labeled plus form, and dilution factor may be calculated since known weight of both were used. However, if plus enantiomer was not optically pure, some unlabeled Menes form will be present also in the recovered racemic modification. In this case, the isotope dilution factor will be less than the predicted. This is the isotopic dilution method, which can be used for the resolution of racemic mixture, that we are using a solvent in which one solvent will react and will formed and will be labeled with plus form and dilution, and we will calculate the dilution factor, that which one has more dilution, and then some unlabeled form will be present also in the recovered racemic modification. In this case, the isotope dilution factor will be less than the predicted one. Now there is preferential crystallization. This method of resolution of glutamic acid has now been perfected for industrial use. This is the industrial method for the resolution of racemic mixture. Harada in 1962 separated copper complexes of DL aspartic acid by this method. Harada has also achieved total resolution of free alpha amino acid by inoculation method. However, this method has found limited application only. Preferential crystallization is the method. This method of resolution of glutamic acid has now been perfected for industrial use. Harada in 1962 separated copper complexes of DL aspartic acid by this method. Harada has also achieved total resolution of Harada in 1965 has also achieved total resolution of free alpha amino acid by inoculation method. However, this method has found limited application only. Then there is conversion of diisomers, formation of salt with optically active pure enantiomer. This is the D acid, this is the L acid, this is 2D base, then it will form D acid D base, then L acid D base. These two diisomers salt may then be separated by fractional crystallization, and the acid regenerated by hydrolysis with inorganic acids or alkalis. In practice, it is usually easy to obtain the less soluble isomer in a pure state and very difficult to obtain pure more soluble enantiomer. In a number of cases, this more soluble isomer may be obtained by preparing in the form of another diisomer which is less soluble than that of its enantiomer. This is the method of conversion to diisomers. Here this is D acid D base. These two have diastereoisomeric relationship. These two diastereoisomeric salts may then be separated by fractional crystallization and the acid regenerated by hydrolysis with inorganic acids or alkalis. In practice, it is usually easy to obtain the less soluble isomer in a pure state and very difficult to obtain pure more soluble enantiomer. In a number of cases, this more soluble isomer may be obtained by preparing in the form of another diisomer which is less soluble than that of its enantiomers. This method was used by Pasteur in 1853 by resolving tartaric acid. Here you can see that tartaric acid is a mixture of plus minus. When it reacts with syncotoxin, syncotoxin is a chemical compound which is used to resolute the tartaric acid. Then we get plus syncotoxin minus tartaric acid. This is the insoluble salt. Then we got plus syncotoxin plus tartaric acid. This is soluble salt remain in solution. This soluble salt remains solution, and insoluble salt clearly shown with precipitation. Then there is another compounds which is quinotoxin, syncotoxin and quinotoxin. This is plus minus tartaric acid is going to react with quinotoxin plus quinotoxin plus tartaric acid. This is the insoluble salt. And then plus quinotoxin minus tartaric acid minus tartaric, this is the soluble salt. This remains in the solution. These methods were used by the Pasteur in 1853 for resolving tartaric acid. He has used syncotoxin and quinotoxin for the resolution of tartaric acid, because tartaric acid is found in plus minus form. In addition to salt formation with chiral bases, the latter may also be used for the formation of diastereomeric amides. The major limitation in amide mediated resolution has been the harsh condition often required to hydrolyze the separated diastereomeric compounds. The lactones can be also resolved through the amide mediated diastereomer formation. Again, here I would like to explain, in addition to salt formation with chiral bases, the latter may also be used for the formation of diastereoisomeric amides. The major limitation in amide mediated resolution has been the harsh condition often required to hydrolyze the separated diastereomeric compounds. The lactones can also be resolved through the amide mediated diastereoisomer formation. The lactones can also be resolved through the amide mediated diastereoisomer formation. Now we are using resolving agents for bases. Tartaric acid and its derivatives, benzoyl and diparatollyl tartaric acid, are widely used in resolution of bases. Racemic alkaloids, lublin was resolved through dibenzoyl tartaric acid. This is the tartaric acid. Here H can be any benzoyl, and then or can be a diparatollyl tartaric acid. Mandelic acid, O-acetyl mandelic acid and O-methyl mandelic acid have been extensively used as a resolving agent for primary and secondary amines. Here is the S plus mandelic acid, which is used for the resolution of primary and secondary amines. Means amines are basic in nature. Which are the agents which are used for the resolution of bases? For bases we use some tartaric acid, and tartaric acid derivatives can be used like benzoyl derivatives or its paratollyl tartaric acid derivatives are widely used in the resolution of bases. Racemic alkaloids, lublin was resolved through dibenzoyl tartaric acid. Then mandelic acid, O-acetyl mandelic acid and O-methyl mandelic acid have been extensively used as resolving agent for primary and secondary amines. The 1-1-binaphthyl 2,2-diallyl hydrogen phosphate has proven to be a powerful resolving agent even for the difficult resolution of tertiary amines. Deoxynitrite Cholic acid has been applied for the resolution of highly water soluble amines. Most of the cited resolving agents have been used in the diastereoisomeric salt mediated resolution. In contrast, O-methyl mandelic acid and the following compounds can be used for the amide mediated resolution. This is the N-butyl loxycarbonyl L-phenyl glycine. This is S alpha methyl alpha phenyl succinic anhydride, alpha methyl benzyl isocyanate. Alpha methyl benzyl isocyanate has been applied for the resolution of amines by urea formation. These are the other resolving agents which are used for the resolution of amines. Then there are resolution of amino acids. Amino acids are most often resolved in protected form, mainly via derivatization of amino acid group, as for example N-acetyl, N-formyl, N-benzoyl, N-tosyl, N-naphtholyl, N-carboxyl derivatives. These derivatives are acidic in nature and can be resolved by diastereomeric salt formation with basic resolving agents, as for example brucine, cunene, ephedrine, pseudoephedrine, and chloramphenicol base. Amino acids can also be resolved in unprotected form through acid resolving agents via amide formation or via salt formation with mandelic acid. The resolution of amino acid ester as a Schiff basis with the following chiral ketone has been reported. This is a chiral ketone because this is the chiral center. Here this compound has some chiral centers, and the resolution of amino acid ester as Schiff basis with the chiral ketones have been reported in the literature that this is used for the resolution of amino acids. Then resolution of alcohols, diols, thiols, dithiols and phenols. The classical methods of resolution of alcohol consisted of their conversion into hydrogen phthalate derivatives. These acidic derivatives were then converted into diastereomeric salts with an alkaloidal base, which were then separated through crystallization. Here you can see that this is the succinic anhydride, which is going to react with the alcohol and form a product. This method is rarely used now. Instead of it, alcohol and diols are converted into diastereomeric ester. In case of diols, often monoester with acidic resolving agents like mandelic acid or O-acetyl mandelic acid, which are separated by crystallization or by chromatography. Other acid resolving agents include O-methyl mandelic acid, Mosher acid, cis-2-benzamido, cyclohexane carboxylic acid. Then compounds omega camphenic acid are used for the resolution of alcohols. These are some resolving agents which are used for the resolution of alcohols. This is the structure of those compounds which I have told you in the previous slides, that this is the resolving agents. This compound, this is 1,1 dash binaphthyl 2 dash dial hydrogen phosphate. This is another compound, this is another compound. These all compounds are used as a resolving agent for the resolution of alcohol, diols, thiols, dithiols, and many other compounds can be also used for their resolution. These are only for your information that these compounds can be used for the resolution of alcohols. These are the other compounds. This is omega camphenic acid. This is R carnaldehyde lactol form, and this is the S2,6-methoxy-2-naphthyl propionic acid, naproxen. This is trans 1,2 cyclohexane dicarboxylic anhydride. This is R11-naphthyl ethyl isocyanate and NOE lactol dimer. These are used also resolving agents and resolution adjuvants for alcohol, diol, thiol, dithiol and phenols. These are the agents which are used for the resolution of alcohols, diols, thiols, dithiols and phenols. This compound has also been used for the resolution of chiral phenols and myoanisole, naproxen compound and 10-cam-4-sulfonic acid has been used for the same purpose. This is 2-phenoxypropanoic acid is used for phenols. Alpha methyl benzyl isocyanate is used for the resolution of alcohols, even tertiary alcohols as carbamates, urethanes, urethane. Similarly, 1,1-naphthyl ethyl isocyanate has been used. This is the reference from where we have taken these compounds which are used for the resolution of some phenols. This is another NOE dimer, MBFO, MBF. This is racemic when it's going to react with the, and then we are using methanol for the separation of product or 2-diisomeric salt, and these NOE dimer are used for the resolution of some other racemic mixture containing some amines, thiol, alcohols, dithiols and phenols. Resolution of aldehyde ketones, tartaric acid derivatives 1, 2 and RR 2,3-butadiol can 3 can form. This is compound 1, this is compound 2, this is compound 3. This is the simplest compounds. Diastereomeric acetals and ketols with racemic aldehyde and ketones which may be separated with fractional crystallization or chromatography. Diastereomeric derivatives can be prepared from the enantiomeric ketones and alpha methyl benzyl oxaamazide. These are the compounds which are used for the resolution of aldehyde and ketones. We have discussed a lot about the some resolving agents which are used for the resolution of some amines, primary secondary amines, some alcohols, thiols, dithiols, phenols. And if you have any question you can ask me. This is whole about the resolution of racemic modification. We have used some methods and we have discussed in details about these methods. If you have any problem you can ask me question and I will try to give you answer, but you have to listen the lecture very carefully, and then you have to study some basic books like D. Nasipuri and some Eliel books are used so that you can understand the basics of stereochemistry. And here there are some Schiff bases may be prepared from carbonyl compounds and a variety of amines and amino acids, esters and amphetamine compounds. These Schiff bases can be separated by crystallization, thin layer chromatography or HPLC. The anti-fragility agent Gospol has been separated in this Gaspol. This is the anti-fragility agents. It can be easily resolved, can be separated by using the TLC and HPLC. This is the anti-fragility agents Gasipol has been separated in this way. Then there are some inclusion complexes. Inclusion complexes may be used for the resolution of racemic modification. There are two main types channel complexes. Urea crystallizes in a form with parallel, almost cylindrical channels in which the molecules of that gas are enclosed lengthwise. These urea channels complexes are used to separate normal straight chain hydrocarbons from branch chain hydrocarbons, but they can also be used for the resolution of racemic modification. Schilling in 1952 added plus minus 2-chlorooctane to a solution of urea and obtained on fractional crystallization the two urea inclusion complexes, urea plus 2-chlorooctane and urea minus 2-chlorooctane. Triothiamotide has been synthesized in plus minus form. Its form chelates with many acyl substances like ethanol and hexane. Crystallization of DL triothiamotide from racemic solvent DL S-butyl bromide produces crystal of type DD and LL chelates. Then we use some Karl-Stacey phases. Cellulose and amylose are cheap and most widely used. Preparative separation of up to 100 milligram scale have been reported with the microcrystalline cellulose triestate. On the other advantage is that non-functionalized or non-derivatizable racemate can be resolved. Karl-Stacey phase with charge transfer interactions as well as having hydrogen bonding capability is shown below. It is modified silica and act as pi bases. These are called the pi bases. This is the Karl-Stacey phase. Then chiral amines, amino acids, esters, alcohols, sulfoxide and lactones can be derivatized by 3,5-dinitrobenzoyl chloride. These derivatives act as pi acid and can be separated on above Karl-Stacey phase. In another Karl-Stacey phase developed by Park et al., the amino propyl silica is ionically bonded to pi acids of analog structure as below. This CSP is effective for resolving aryl alkyl carbenols and many other types of compounds on large columns. Resolution can be achieved on gram scales. Then cyclodextrin have been are water soluble macrocyclic glucose oligomers. They have 6 alpha cyclodextrin, 7 beta cyclodextrins, 8 gamma cyclodextrin of the glucopyranose unit linked in alpha 1,4 form as in starch and amylose, but in a cyclic form they can be used for resolution of racemic as an inclusion complex as well as CSP. The densyl derivatives of amino acids have been resolved by formation of crystalline inclusion complexes with beta and gamma cyclodextrins. The anti-inflammatory, antipyretic analgesic drug phenoprofen has been shown through X-ray studies to form the inclusion complexes with cyclodextrin. One molecule of phenoprofen is included in a cavity of beta cyclodextrin molecules in the crystal. Each host guest pair exists as a dimer, head to head in S enantiomers and head to tail in case of R isomer. Cyclodextrins form crystalline cavitate inclusion complexes with host molecules in solution. Alternatively, the complexes can be formed by grinding together or sonicating solid guest and host partner. Partial resolution of carboxylic acid, ester, and alcohols can be achieved with beta cyclodextrin. Although enantiomeric enrichment is low, that is less than 11%, the process may be repeated to increase the enrichment. Here is the information for you that there is HPLC column for enantiomers separation. We use some columns which can be used for the separation of enantiomers. These are the high performance liquid chromatography columns. Through columns we can easily separate the enantiomers. And here is the other detail about the HPLC columns which are used for the separation of enantiomers. You have to read these informations. We have taken these information from the literature to know the importance of chromatography, that the chromatography play an important role for the separation of enantiomers. Then I have given you some, this is the problem, you have to solve it. Indicate the reagent you would use to indicate the reagents you would use to resolve the following compounds. Show the reaction involved and specify the physical method you believe that would be best to separate the diisomers. That is 1-phenyl to propanamine, 2,3-pentadiene dioic acid, 1-phenyl ethanol. These are the 3 compounds that you have to write the reactions and you have to write the reagents which can be used to resolve this compound. This is the type of question for you have to solve at home. And if at this stage I would like to say that good luck for you for your exams. Be prepared yourself for exams, because exam will be a MCQ type, but it is not sure that it is MCQ type. Depends upon the decision of the higher authorities. Mostly you have to prepare yourself by short question, short answer, and long question, as well as some MCQs. So that if the exam is in MCQs, then it is very important for you that you have to study the to whole the course. If you will do the select study, then you will not be easily to solve the MCQs. At this stage, Allah Hafiz, God bless you, good luck.